Jai Shri Ram. Jai Jai Shri Ram. Let us look at some Gre Awa issue topics. Education should be equally devoted to enriching the personal lives of students and to training students to be productive workers. The purpose of education should be to provide students with a value system, a standard, a set of ideas, not to prepare them for a specific job. So, this could be the topic on which you have to write an essay. So, like I told you, the introduction should be crisp, four sentences in which you take a stance. Do not fully agree or fully disagree with anything because all these topics are moot topics. Moot means debatable. Moot, M-O-O-T. Moot also means irrelevant. So be careful with this word moot. It has two meanings. One, debatable, not yet determined, not settled, not resolved. So which means you need to debate it. You need to debate it to understand what to do. But moot in a different context can mean irrelevant, no point debating. What we should be doing is thinking about what next to be done instead of discussing why the accident happened. We must discuss what to do now to take care of the injured or to prevent future whatever. So moot is a word with two meanings. One, debatable, not yet settled. The other is irrelevant. So my suggestion has been to you that in the GRE essay topics, never fully agree or disagree with anything. Always say that the topic is very moot in the sense that there are multiple perspectives which have to be examined, and therefore one cannot straight away accept or reject what the speaker is saying. This is how you must write your introduction. So the purpose of education, in other words, should be definitely to provide a value system, and but at the same time it should also prepare a student to fit into a specific job. Otherwise, he will end up with a degree but perhaps will not get employed. So that would be disastrous. So introduction should be something like that. Four paragraphs should be the body of the response and one conclusion in which you restate what you said in the introduction. Each paragraph should follow the PREP formula. State the point, give reasons, give some examples, restate the point, close the paragraph. If you don't want to close the paragraph, continue into the next paragraph with PRE, and then the next paragraph will start with let's take some more examples, blah blah blah. That's how it should go. And so now let us see. Education should be equally devoted to enriching the personal lives. Yes, obviously. So you must mention about first the meaning of the word education. Let us look at the etymology, the root word. Education comes from the Latin root educare, E-D-U-C-A-R-E. Educare means to bring out, to draw forth. That means to tap the latent talent. అంటే మనందరికీ లేటెంట్ టాలెంట్ ఉంటుంది. లేటెంట్ అంటే హిడెన్. మనకి యాప్టిట్యూడ్స్ అందరికీ పుట్టుకతో వస్తాయి. ఇది జెనెటిక్. ఇది చేపకి స్విమ్మింగ్ జెనెటిక్, అది ఇన్స్టింక్ట్. అది జింకకి పరిగెట్టడము అది ఇన్స్టింక్ట్. అదే అలాగే మనుషులకి యాప్టిట్యూడ్స్ అని ఉంటాయి. జంతువుకి ఇన్స్టింక్ట్, మనిషికి యాప్టిట్యూడ్. నీకు మ్యాథమెటిక్స్లో ఉండొచ్చు. మన ఇండియన్స్కి అందరికీ మ్యాథమెటిక్స్లో మంచి యాప్టిట్యూడ్ ఉంది. కొంతమందికి లాంగ్వేజెస్లో ఉండొచ్చు. కొంతమంది చాలా యాప్టిట్యూడ్ ఉంటే గిఫ్టెడ్, టాలెంటెడ్, ప్రాడిజీ. సో నౌ యూ విల్ మెన్షన్ అబౌట్ ద మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ద వర్డ్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ is to draw forth the latent talent. So initially in school itself, teachers should make every attempt to identify the aptitudes of the child so that the child is tutored in the areas in which he has aptitude, so that by the time he is barely 20 he should be an expert in that subject, if not a world champion in that area. When this is omitted, then education becomes simply a process of filling the head with a lot of information, but then that's going to be useless because it will only create a clerk like mentality. They cannot become leaders. To become leaders, you need to develop the full potential of the individual. So idantha rayandi education. So personal values, lives, culture, ivanta undali. Then at the same time, two paragraphs you will talk about why education should be talking about and teaching, instilling values. Two paragraphs you will talk about how education should train somebody to fit into a particular job. In fact, we should specialize. These days, all over the world, it is the specialist who gets recognition, not the generalist. If you have a lot of general knowledge, you will be unfit for any job. Anyway, general knowledge is easily available on Google. So only that person who is a specialist in something is likely to be offered a job, and the one who is a true specialist will be probably the offer the job of a CEO, because he knows how to run the company. Okay, so this is what you should write. Now let's look at that. Next one. The way people look, dress, and act reveals their attitudes and interests. You can tell much about a society's ideas and values by observing the appearance and behavior of its people. Two paragraphs you will agree with this, two paragraphs no, you will say that, you see, this is not sufficient. Society's ideas and values and culture, actually we are talking, this is a topic on culture. So society's ideas and values can be known only by studying the culture deeply, for which you need to study four aspects of any culture. One, mentifacts, MENTIFACT, which means the ideas, values, philosophies, mottos, ideologies, belief systems, religion, everything. So that is mentifacts. So to understand America, the most important American mentifact is the American dream. What do you mean by the American dream? The American dream simply means that the possibility of becoming prosperous is offered to every American, every citizen, if he is willing to work hard and he is talented. So that prosperity is guaranteed to people who are willing to work hard, because the society is going to be a meritocratic society where only merit will be given recognition, no question of any reservation on any stupid grounds. So that is called the American dream. So without understanding the concept of the American dream, you cannot understand American culture. Mentifacts. So India, Satyameva Jayate. So every nation has their own beliefs and values. Next, sociofacts. Sociofacts would mean the political system, the academic system, the judiciary, and the architecture of the cities, the number of cities, the type of cities, all these come under socio-facts. So we must examine that. Next, one more paragraph you will talk about artifacts, ARTIFACT, which means all the objects of art created by man. So art includes sculpture, painting, architecture, which are fine arts, dance, drama or literature, and music, and finally movies too. So art of any country, for example American art, which means all these seven aspects of American art must be studied to understand America. So then the last one is semiotics, SEMIOTICS, which means images, symbols. What do these symbols signify? What is the great eagle? Why is the American flag having those 13, how many stars? 13 stripes and 50 stars. What do these stars represent? Why the blue color? Why the red color? So Indian flag, what is the meaning of saffron right on top? What is the meaning of white? What is the meaning of the wheel in the middle? Dharma Chakra. Dharma Chakra Pravartanaya. That's the motto of the Lok Sabha. And what is the meaning of the green color? Green color just stands for agriculture, fertility, prosperity. So knowing all these things is essential to understand the semiotics, the symbols, the national animal, the national bird. India has got 6 national animals. So we need to know why we chose these animals as our national birds, the color symbolism, and all the other symbols that are there. So if you look at the mentifacts, sociofacts, artifacts, semiotics, and then anything else like the trends of the youth, and people's behavior, people's dress sense, and all these things are also useful because they will open a small window into the culture, but the main doors are mentifact, sociofact, artifact, semiotics. So please write like this. Then the next one, moderation in all things is ill-considered advice. Rather, one should say moderation in most things, since many areas of human concern require or at least profit from intense focus. Again, you will talk about the need for moderation in certain areas of life. For example, enjoyment, eating, drinking, or whatever, in case if you are a social drinker. Moderation pertains to enjoyment of sense pleasures. Any excess can cause deterioration of the personality. A drunkard is a menace to society, right? So moderation is necessary. If you eat too much, you become obese and fat and good for nothing. You will be a burden on society, burden on yourself. So moderation in eating, drinking, enjoyment, entertainment is essential. But moderation is not necessary in your career, in your passion. Suppose you pursue something as a passion in that hobby, There's no need for any moderation there. In fact, you must give it 200%. You must give total commitment, 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. That's what leads to success. That's what genius is, as defined by Thomas Alva Edison. So, you will talk about where moderation is necessary, 2 paragraphs, and where moderation is not necessary. We must intensely focus on our career, on our profession, on our calling. Calling. Calling means a job for which you have passion, you have aptitude, you are trained, and you love that job. That's your passion. That's your calling. Teaching is my calling. I know most people don't listen to all these videos, but it doesn't matter. It is for those few who listen and who will benefit, and that gives me sufficient satisfaction because teaching is my calling. I cannot not teach. You get it? So write your essay. The last one. Most people prefer restrictions and regulations to absolute freedom of choice, although they would probably deny such a preference. This is a slightly complicated one. What about you? Ask yourself, do you prefer restrictions and regulations, or do you prefer absolute freedom of choice? Now let us say you say, I prefer restrictions and regulations. The next question you have to ask yourself is, would you deny this preference? Why would you deny that? So if you say, no, no, I don't deny, I publicly also declare that I prefer restrictions. But now let me ask you another question. Suppose you are the manager of a company, or the CEO of a company, or a politician who is aspiring to win the next election. Would you say that you are going to impose restrictions on people? No. You will say, I'll give you freedom, because you want their votes. So if you are a company owner, would you say, hey, this kind of dress code is not allowed, religious symbols are not allowed, you must not wear a tilakam bottu? What will happen? Would you do that? You will not get employees. So, though you actually prefer the restrictions, you will probably deny the preference. If you are the owner of a company, if you are a politician, if you are a person who is very concerned about your image, so you'll become actually a hypocrite, right? You cannot. So these are people who prefer restrictions and regulations but deny the preference. Okay, there could be some people like me. Now I am 60 plus, I am touching 64. I don't care. I don't have a care in the world. So if I prefer restrictions, which I do, I openly tell people that these are the restrictions. I have no problem. I am not here to recruit people for employment. I am not running a political party. I don't care. So there are very few people who will, so directly and clearly assert that they prefer restrictions. Most people would, even parents, your own parents would probably, suppose there is a TV anchor who comes to interview parents, and then they would say, yeah, I give a lot of freedom, but you know that's not true. Why would they say that? Because they want to be pictured and portrayed as very nice liberal people. That's what people do all the time. They deny what they actually secretly prefer. Now, a philosopher like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, or all rishis, Vedic rishis, we Hindus love freedom. In fact, if God does not give us freedom, we will replace God with freedom. That is why you see we have so many gods, so many images, so many. You are free. As long as you don't cause any pain to others, you are a Hindu. So we worship freedom. Absolute freedom of choice. As long as you do not cross the line of crime and commit crime in the name of freedom. That's all. Now I leave it to you. Uh, Write a good essay. Thank you very much. Bolo Jai Shri Ram.